All right. There we are.
Yes,
a new year, the first show of the new year. Ready? Agγελοσ βρήκαμε. I like that. I got to do that more than once. Agγελosas βρήκαμε. And we got a big show today, don't we, Aurora?
Yes, we do. We have the very funny Angelo Tsarouchas. And later we will be making spicy Mykonos-style feta dip with Chef Alexander Nalbantov. Very exciting because feta is everything to me.
And we're all set up here too, you know, and we found our jalapenos. So we're good with that too. And hey, I know our guest, our special guest today, and you've seen Angelo's face pop up on numerous movie and television shows, and he's got this high energy act and this relatable comedy that has made him popular throughout the world. I mean, he's on Amazon and with his special Bigger is Better with 14 million views, and he's on YouTube and Facebook. He's got a podcast. He's got 10 million views by fans everywhere. And we're going to introduce our friend now, Angelo Tsarouchas. Hello.
Hi, Bob. Hi, Aurora. How are you guys?
Good. How are you?
No, you know what? I was looking at the screen and I thought it said Bob in Aurora, California. I thought Aurora was a city in California. No, Aurora that's your name. And
that's right. That's Aurora.
Saying Greek, ime koma kimis menos. I'm still asleep here.
You know,
you really got to read what's going on. How you guys doing? I'm very honored to be your first guest of 2021. Thank you.
Well, we're honored to have you. Thank you so much. And I know it's kind of early, but what we try to do is make it so the show is also live in Greece.
Nice.
At 8 p.m. So just make sure we got our and so we've got we'll have comments coming in real soon, and you know, so it'll be a lot of fun here. And but hey, you know, I'm so happy you're here. I mean, I want to say one of the things is that always struck me about, well, first of all, you've got my favorite title, Appetite for Discussion.
Let's give it. That was my comedy album that we had filmed. A friend of mine said to me once, Bob, that he goes, you're it's funny because you're a comedian, but you're passionate about things. And especially when it comes to food, we always like to talk about food, right? Especially Greeks, and not just Greek food, any food. And by the way, I love your name. You know, Cooking with Greek People. I love the name of that. When I saw, I've seen it before, and I'm like, I love that name, Cooking with Greek People. You get right to the point. What's the show called? Cooking with Greek People. And my friend said, right, and he knew, you know, based on, you know, Appetite for Destruction, which was the Guns N' Roses album. My friend said, you know, you should call your show Appetite for Discussion. And I thought, it's kind of a double metaphor, right? Say
it in Greek. Say it in Greek. I've heard you say it in Greek before, and I love it.
Appetite, my brain's frozen right now. Appetite for onyxy na milisome.
Yeah,
I guess onyxy na milisome. It would be the translation, right? Onyxy.
I think so.
For discussion, na milisome.
Well, we'll have people in Saloniki in a little while, and they'll fix this up real soon. But you know, I love it because it seems like that was that kind of like transitional for you, because you kind of went from really heavy Greek comedy into more like observational and just kind of comedy that anybody in the world would understand it, not just
right. Well, you see, what the thing is that I never. The Greek comedy thing came later. I started mainstream, and then later on. So about 5 years ago, I went to Greece. We did a documentary called Back to Sparta, where my family's from. And the whole idea behind that was, when my dad was alive, he'd say to me, "You've traveled all around the world doing comedy, and the one place you've never gone is Greece," which he was right. And then we ended up doing a I taped a 1 hour special in Stavrou in Athens at the Kakoyannis Foundation called A Night. We just called it like Cooking with Greek People. We called it A Night in Athens because it was one night and we filmed it. And I was nervous because I was doing being Greek outside of Greece to Greeks in Greece.
Right.
So I was trying to explain to them that, although we're Greek, we had to live in an English-speaking world and then go home to a Greek world. And that was the difference. So I would tell the Greeks, I speak Greek the way you guys speak English. And we would find, as they say, Greek synonoisi, which we came to an agreement. And then we did that. So then doing Appetite, I figured we had done the first one that went around the world was It's All Greek to Me, which I filmed in my hometown of Montreal, Canada. And then they liked it. So it's a fusion. So I'll do stuff, guys, where I will put the Greek stuff in my act that, as I call them, the kseni. There's 25 million Greek people amidst 7.2 billion. They're the strangers, not us. I always love that. With Titelio Xenos, right? What do they want? So, and then we did, and then you're right. It was a departure in the sense that Appetite for Discussion was, I'm living in Los Angeles to an Armenian wife who's a Disney holic, and I got this kid. And it's just, there's so many other things going on. So I think like everything transitional, just like comedy, you have to let people know where you are in your life type of thing.
Well, we have people joining us here in the comments, like Julie Massinos from Fame Story. So,
hi, Julie.
Oh yeah, hey Julie, how are you?
Yeah, so she's, but yeah, well, for you, it's even more. It's confusing enough with Greek and English, but man, you grew up, I think, in Ottawa, and then you grew up French, English, Greek, right?
Yeah. Well, and all that. And it's funny because it's like, when I did an interview once where they asked me, give us your background. I go, well, my parents are Greek immigrants. They moved to Canada. Then I left Canada, and then I went to England for 2 years. I ended up working in London. And then I got this opportunity for a sitcom in LA. So I came to LA. I was only going to stay for 3 years. And I did a movie called Fred and Vinny with Fred Stoller. That's when I did my Showtime special. And then I met my wife, my beautiful Armenian wife, so there's another good, who cooks Greek food amazingly as well as Armenian food. So I was double lucky. And now we're here. So it's funny how, but you see, Bobby, that's what comedy is. You got to have that whole mix of things. So I still people go to me, are you going back to Canada? I go, I love Canada. I'm not going back now. It's freezing. It's like, it's what, 77 today in LA, and it's like minus 12 in Montreal. So no.
Oh my goodness.
No.
But I came up in a generation of watching SCTV, John Candy, Martin Short, Earl Ramus, things like that. And you kind of came up with people like, well, there's you, Norm Macdonald, Tom Green. You guys kind of all, what is it about Canada that makes such great comedians?
It's funny, Norm Macdonald, Tom Green, Jeremy Hotz. We were in Ottawa, Yuck Yucks, club called Yuck Yucks, where he really started, and that was amateur night, new talent night, and these guys, and they were on it. And I think what happens, Canada being part of the British Commonwealth attached to America. So imagine now you're growing up in Canada where we had things like Monty Python. And then you had SCTV, which is Canada, and then you had SNL with Belushi. So for us in Canada, guys, we were able to have the best of British, Canadian, and American comedy. So I think for Canadian perspective, we knew a lot about British comedy, but we were so immersed in American comedy. and that we could bridge that gap, I think, quicker because we had more knowledge of it, I guess. We have more accessibility.
Yeah, but the talent that comes out of there just connects.
Well, look at Mike Myers, Jim Carrey, Russell Peters, all these massive comedy stars. And we love Canada so much, Bob, we all moved to California. Everybody goes, are you guys proud Canadians? 100% proud Canadians. Where do you live? LA. It's like, because we've had people on here who like the Paralympides brothers who've done this movie called Blood of Zeus. They're the producers of it for Netflix, and we've had people that talk about mythic characters. And I always say, and you're part of this too, is that there's this hero's journey that as Greeks we can't help it. We can't help it. We can't stay where we are. We may eventually go back to it, but it's after we've already done all these other things in this circle that need to be done. And they're rarely where we start off. And so you, my friend, you're a part of that hero's journey, and you're just kind of at the halfway mark of where going around the circle.
Yeah.
But Bob, isn't it? You're making a good point. I think it's in our DNA. Like, look at the largest merchant marines in the world to this day are still Greek.
Yeah.
They run the shipping, and it's funny because doing comedy, I've gone to the most obscure places, and you run into Greeks. And it's weird because it's like, some people can't travel 60 miles in a day. And I'll be on the road, and then you'll be like in the most, Yellowknife Northwest Territories, Tokyo, Japan, Dubai, and you run into Greeks. And they're like, oh, what are you doing here? What are you doing here? It's weird. It's like it's in the DNA. And I think we're natural wanderers, I guess. We're nomads. I mean, look at Onassis. He was from Asia Minor, from Greece. Then he went to Argentina, made his fortune, and then went back to Greece.
Yeah.
It's interesting, isn't it? It's true. We're kind of.
Joseph Campbell described it as a hero's journey.
It's well put.
And
if there's anywhere we can sell something, especially food, and if there's no competition, we can go there. It's true. Somebody just wrote. One of your fans just wrote. Canadians. How do you get Canadians to say sorry to you? Just step on their foot. And they'll say sorry, or as we say in Canada, sorry. I've learned now. They go, hey, it's sorry, not sorry. But you in Canada, we owe the things, right? I'm outside. I'm sorry. So I love that joke. How do you get a Canadian to say sorry? Step on his foot. So it's kind of funny, actually.
Well, hey, speaking about sorry, you played a gangster priest. What was church like that after that?
Well, here's the thing. My good friend George Stroumboulopoulos, he's one of the best interviewers in the world. He was on CNN, and then he was in CBC Canada. He had his own show. Now he's on Apple Radio here in LA. Yeah. And he made a show called Watching the Detectives. And it was filmed in CBC Canada, the same people that did Schitt's Creek. Same network. And what they said was they were trying to combine the show, and he's like sort of this TV punk with a hip hop artist, and we were all detectives. So he wanted Father Petros, which is based on my father's name. He liked Father Petros, and he said, "Look," he goes, "the idea of the show, Bob, was that they did these things, but at the end of the day, you realize they're helping street kids. So they're kind of like rogue, but with a good heart, like Greeks. But they wanted me to play this Greek priest who smokes cigars and runs a casino in the basement of the church, which is actually not false. I can't say where I've heard that happen, but it happened. for the good of things. Yetokalo, right?
Hello, right.
And Father Petros is like, they kind of have it's so funny because in the trailer it was like, I go up to George with George, don't worry about it, God has a plan. And he goes, oh no, because they do this stuff. So here I am dressed up as this. Well, it was because it was their vision. I was trying to tell them it was a cross of Greek and Ukrainian Orthodox. So it's still Orthodox, but different with the head mask, because that looked more to them. And I had it's funny because I had a lot of people were like, all right, well, what is it? I go, look, I'm an actor. As an actor, it's like a Jewish person playing a rabbi. I'm just happen to be a Greek comedian actor who's playing a Greek priest. So I said, trust me, there'll be no kseftila. I'm not going to embarrass our faith and our people. I'm not that dumb, but I'm still an actor. So I think most people understood it, but I have a few friends of mine who are priests, and they were like, I'd ask them for advice and they helped me with certain things. But yet, we're still Greek, right, Bob? We still carry that old torch. So you got to be careful with stuff like that. But it was fun. It was fun to do it. And actually, that's what sold the show. When we did on stream, that sold it. The guy goes, look, all the other characters we've seen, a Greek priest smoking a cigar. And, we were filming it on Queen Street in Toronto. And I was walking down Queen Street at midnight. We're doing a show. And Queen Street's kind of like Melrose here in LA. Mm-hmm. You imagine walking down full Greek priest regalia, smoking a cigar, walking down. People were just looking at me like, what's the priest doing out at midnight? It's kind of funny, I think.
It is. It's there's probably, I bet the priests of the Greek Orthodox priests of the 18th century were probably closer to your character,
right,
than the priests today are to those guys. Because, you hear about, like during the Revolution, some of the most famous revolutionaries from, breaking away from the Ottomans were Greek Orthodox priests.
That's right. They were bad. They were badass. Also, they had with the night schools. When you look at because this year is going to be the 200th anniversary of our independence.
Mm-hmm.
On my name day, no doubt. Because evangelismo. And people, there's a day in December. They all think it's my name day, Angelos, and they'll send me stuff. They go, "Oh, happy name." They go, "No, actually, it's on the 25th of March, Greek Independence Day." And they always get it mixed up. And I think I got like 4 or 5 birthdays on Facebook because people think every 2 months it's my birthday. You ever get that? They go, hey, happy birthday. I go, it's not my birthday. No, happy birthday. Whatever.
You get a Horonya Pola and it translates to happy birthday.
Right.
I think the Google Translator, does that for us. Thank you, Google Translator.
Yeah.
But I want to make sure we get. Oops. Come on. And I wanted to make sure I shared everything was sharing properly here. Excuse me just a second. And because I forgot to check and see if we are okay. Are we really live? Sometimes
it should on my screen, Bob, it says live. 19 minutes and 7, 8.
We're getting comments and all, but I want to make sure it was live on my page too. And but there's I'm when I was watching some of your shows and kind of watching some of the things that you've done, and you're like so funny. Even take out all the Greek stuff and it's still freaking hilarious. But I guess did you start? I know you started a little bit later. You started in your mid-30s in comedy, right?
Well, here's what happened. I actually started in high school. So what happened was I started doing it in high school. Then I started working at the clubs and doing it. But then and this is where culturally things change. I went back to school, and then at one point, when I was married the first time in Canada, I owned I got back into the travel business. So I was a travel agent. I owned a business, and then I had a bowling alley, a sun tanning salon, and a diner. So I did what most Greeks do, which is natural business. But then, unfortunately, that didn't work out. Not the business, the marriage. That didn't work out, which means there goes your business.
Yeah.
So then, and then I thought, you know what? You're right. At 32, 33 years old, because in a span of a year, I lost my business, my marriage failed, and my dad died.
Oh no!
And all in 1 year. And that's when I realized, you know what? You know when people say to you, life is too short? It is. And after we buried my dad in 1998, I said, okay, enough of this. We're going to go, I just, forget it. And everybody, like, whatever people say you got to do, just go. I did. I never looked back. And that's why I did that. And I think that was the motivation. And, I'm happy I did. And then from there, got into it full time. And then, struggled at the beginning. And then you imagine you lose pretty much everything in your life. And then you want to be a comic. You're inside, you're kind of like hurting, but you're going to make other people laugh. It's kind of a reverse therapy, but it's good. And then, you know what? You do that, and then you go with it. And then I started doing commercials, started working in movies, started doing comedy, and I started seeing things rolling around. And then I thought, all right, just follow it. And now we end up here, And now I'm on Cooking with Greeks.
Yeah.
Greek people, you're on with Cooking with Greek people.
Well, I always look at today, right, Bob? I always look at today. And if it wasn't for what I hadn't done, I would never be here now. So everybody, I think we're so, I know it sounds a bit zen. It's not. It's just reality. I always tell people, where you go is where it's going to take you. And that's why I think even now, this is great what you guys are doing, because it's like people need this now. We're in COVID. I get depressed. I think we're all kind of feeling the effects. But when you talk about food and comedy, it kind of makes people happy, right? And they're like, oh, I want to listen to this, or I want to watch it. And we need this now more than ever. I think everybody's worried about money and stuff. I think mental health is the most important thing for a lot of people right now. Yeah. And that's why I say in California, at least we have the good. Imagine these places. I talked to Mike Kubati in Canada. It's minus 14. They're on lockdown and they can't go nowhere.
Yeah.
So they're going nuts now, and that's why I'm saying it's like.
At least we got sunny California.
At least we do. And
still sunny.
Yeah, I'm so happy we actually, and this is why I started the show. I started it at the very start of COVID, because the very start, it was a hard lockdown here. And there was no more Greek dance for the kids. There was no more church. The young adult leagues were done. Yeah. Everything was just done. And so I said it was, it started to warm up. I think it was May. And I went to the barbecue and I turned on the camera, called up my cousin Thessaloniki, and I said, hey, you want to teach me a dish? And he did on camera. And then he said, how can we start getting, and you have one of your compatriots.
Yeah, there's Lenny from Calgary, Alberta. Yeah, I see people. Nice city, Calgary. I like it there.
Yeah. And so we started finding more and more chefs and restaurants that had and Greek musicians in Greece that were doing kind of modern music, not really the music of our grandfathers or anything, but they were doing modern music. And so we had them on the show as well. And normally we have a chef and a musician, and you're our first comedian.
Yeah.
Awesome.
But
that is awesome. I'm very honored.
Yeah, you're also, like this acting part of it though, and you've got a great Marlon Brando story. Do you want to share it?
Yeah, it actually has to do with food, believe it or not.
Oh, there we go.
I got called last minute. There's a film called The Score, which is about a heist that takes place in actual Montreal, Canada. And Robert De Niro and Edward Norton were on it also, with Angelo Tsarouchas. Now, Marlon Brando is on this film. So as you know, Marlon was very difficult to work with. Even with the biggest directors, he didn't care. So he was a large man, and I wasn't in scenes with him, but we're on offset. And I was with Frank Oz, who works with the Muppets, who also directed. You know, he directed Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, and so Frank's there, and he wasn't talking. And I see at one moment, I see Brando pointing at me and does this. So I'm looking around like, he goes, you, come here. He's talking, and this is like the Godfather calling me over. So I went over. I go, hi, Mr. Brando. He goes, this is what he says to me. He goes, you like to eat? I said, yeah. He goes, me too. He goes, look around. Nobody here likes to eat, but you and me, we're eaters. Like he broke it down. He wanted me to tell him where to go eat in Montreal.
Oh, wow.
So that was the thing, but he wasn't talking to the director. I mean, a true story. So I told him there was a place called Felino's Greek restaurant, and he picked me off right away. He goes, where are you, Italian, Greek? I go, Greek. He goes, yeah, I figured as much. Tell my driver where to go eat. So I told him there's 3 places I gave him in Montreal. One of them was Felino's Greek restaurant. And the other one was La Tre Marie, which was a great Italian restaurant. There's 3 Nonas working in the kitchen.
Oh.
And, one of those kind of places.
Yeah.
And it's funny, Bob, because my brother's friend that owned this Greek restaurant called Felino's on Park Avenue in Montreal. And my brother Mike called him and said, look, 8 o'clock tonight, the Godfather's coming to eat. So put a table in the back. He goes, who? He goes, the Godfather, Marlon Brando. And Greeks were so positive. He goes, fun. They didn't believe it. Sure enough, at 8 o'clock with his driver, there's the Godfather. And he went there and he ate. And it was so funny because, and then later on, Frank Oz, who looks at me and he goes, the guy hasn't talked to me the whole time. Are you going to tell me what he said? Yeah, wait till he leaves the room. So he left the room. He goes, what did he say to you? And I go, he wanted to know where to go eat. He goes, what? It's a $100 million film, and he wanted to know where to eat. And then he looked at me and goes, well, I understand, but, and I was much heavier. I go, you need to go eat. He goes, that was his concern. I go, yeah. Because, when you're in another city, that's why most comics like to work with me, because they always say to me, how do you know where to go eat anywhere in the world? I go, Bob, it's true. I still do this. If I go to another city, even if it's not necessarily a Greek restaurant, Greek-owned restaurant, I'll eat at because I know it's going to be better and because as miserable as Greeks can be, their food is always going to be good. And Cleveland, Kansas City, London, Johannesburg, doesn't matter where I am. I go, how do you know? I said, even the other comics don't know. And then half the time you go somewhere and they go, I said, we're going to eat here today. Because many times I've gone, has this ever happened to you guys? I go to a Greek restaurant and they're not Greek.
Yeah.
So I went to Cleveland. In Cleveland, Bob, I went to a place called Greek Express. I was staying at the Hyatt Regency downtown Cleveland. I thought, Greek Express, let's go have lunch. And they're Indian people running it, East Indian. I love East Indian cuisine also. So I went in and I looked at the guy and he goes, can I help you? I go, are you Greek? And the guy jokingly said, yeah. I go, are you from Southern Greece? Where are you from? And he goes, no, they took it over. And I go to the guy, why don't you just open a restaurant and call it Indian Express? And he said to me, we attract more people with Greek. I said, dude.
Yeah.
And I go, dude, it's like Greeks opening Indian Express and the Greeks running it. But I said, if Greeks did that, it'd probably be really good. It'll be really good, So here I am lecturing the guy. And you can always tell when you're at a Greek diner or restaurant because even if it's it can be called Brannigan's. And when you open the menu, there's always like avgolemono soup, chicken souvlaki. Then I go, we're eating here. And the guy goes, how do you know they're Greek? I go, because Greeks colonized the world by Greek food.
Yeah.
It's like it can be called Brannikins or Davidsons. And as soon as you open the menu, you see all these Greek dishes just happen to appear on the menu. You go, we're eating here. These are Greeks.
You're so right. You're so right. And I remember working in Dusseldorf in the 80s. And there was a place across from work called Apollo Burgers. And I said, Apollo Burgers. So I went in there, spoke Greek to me, made me food that wasn't on the menu.
Yeah.
I knew it was, it's amazing. But that's the philoxenia you get. That's right. What we look for. That's why we go to the Greek restaurants, because more than just the food, it's the philoxenia that you get.
It's the philoxenia, 100%.
Yeah.
And how do you explain that word, Bob? Philoxenia, friend of strangers.
Yeah, because it's hospitality. Now, if you really want to know, here, I'm going to bring on George, okay? Now, George is my cousin in Thessaloniki, and he helps me with all this stuff. So, George, explain philoxenia to us.
Yasu Yorgo.
Oh, unmute.
Oh, unmute, George. Unmute.
Sorry. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello, Angelo.
Yasu Yorgo. How are you?
We're great. We're great.
Great. Hey, let me ask you, why does Thessaloniki have the best Mugaza in Greece? Yeti.
Because in Thessaloniki came people from Asia Minor that they had recipes that they were transitional from Asian food, and they created new stuff. Also, they brought souvlaki.
That's right.
Yeah.
What a great city.
It was art of food for the poor people.
And now, because I did a show there. I was in Thessaloniki with Hadzi Pavlo. We did a show on our Greek tour 2 years ago. And my friend George Karamuzas, who I know from Ottawa, he's a teacher in Thessaloniki. And he goes to Sufero Mugaza. So they were like, and everybody was bringing it to me. I had like about 8 of them. And I ate half of them, because it was so good. But what a beautiful city, because my dad's from Sparti, so my mom's from Lesvo, so I never got a chance to go to the real Macedonia. By the way, the real one, not the fake one, but the real one. And I told my friends, north is the fake, the real one is in Greece, and what a beautiful city! Like I want to go back. I only spent 2 days in Thessaloniki. But
I have a question for you. Question for you. Since you've been here, did your friends went with you to Tsarouchas restaurant?
Yes. Here's the thing. There's a tsaroukas restaurant in Thessaloniki, because I know we didn't get a chance to go, George. They said next time, there's something happened, the way the schedule worked out, we didn't go. But there's a lot of tsaroukas with the same name. So, Bob, when I was in Thessaloniki, a lot of people thought maybe my family was from there. Yeah. And I said, no, my family's more south. We're from the other city-state, Sparti. And then it was like, but next time I go, because what I wanted to do, George, I wanted to take a picture at Tsarouchas restaurant. Thessaloniki. That'd be kind of funny.
This is something that you should do. It's you own
100%.
You will also say that I own a restaurant in Thessaloniki.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
There you go. That's my restaurant. I like all the Greeks. But it's funny, George, that you asked me that, because a few people asked, and I said, I franchised my name out now. They can use my name. Tsarouchas Airways. Tsarouchas restaurant, whatever.
We were trying to get that restaurant, but because of to come on the show, because of the last name, obviously.
Oh, it'd been nice.
Yeah, we were trying to get that restaurant because the food they make is like it's the stomach lining of the. It's
the patsas,
right? Patsas, yeah. So it's like menudo here in California.
Yeah.
But but because of COVID and barely working, limited people and all that, we're unable to do it. But Hey, let's bring on Alexander, Chef Alexander. Hello, Chef.
Γεια σας.
Yes, thank you for joining us. Chef Alexander's in Thessaloniki, and he's going to teach us a cool recipe. Can you stick around for the recipe, Angela?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, it's gonna be
Alexander.
Can you hear us, Alexander? Tsarouchas?
Ναι, ναι, σας ακούω.
Yeah, okay. Good.
It's funny you're talking, but we don't. Your mouth's not moving. You're like a Alexander Nalbantov.
Well, I think we'll be okay. So, hey, George. Okay, so I'm going to add. It's going to get a little crowded, but I'm going to add. Maybe I'll take us off and put.
I will switch off my camera so I will be here.
Oh yeah, go to God mode. Yeah.
Yeah.
We can hear you, but we can't see you.
Being.
Yes. That way we can add the food.
Oh, nice.
It's the food cam here. So, Chef, thank you so much for joining us. And we're excited about this dish, TPT Mykonos. So this is something that you would make when working in Mykonos. Αυτό το φτιάχνετε μόλις είσαστε στο Mykonos, αυτό το φαΐ.
Ναι, κυρίως ναι, αλλά σε όλη την Ελλάδα. Αρέσει πολύ στην Ελλάδα, κυρίως με το ψητό κρέας.
Okay, so everybody in Greece loves this. So I agree. So so I've got, I think, everything laid out. The only thing I haven't done is cut the peppers. So do I dice the peppers?
Ψιλοκόβουμε τις πιπεριές.
Okay.
Τα κόβουνε έτσι, Αυτό είναι σαν κοπανιστό, δεν είναι?
Yeah.
Yes.
You know, Bob, I swear to God on my dead dad's grave, I was thinking of, we have Tito Copanisto and Sparti, and I thought, what are they going to make today on the show? Weirdly enough, you guys are making a fire, we call it fire feta.
Yeah.
Yes.
Fire feta, they call it Copanisto. Έτσι δεν είναι, Alexander, στην Ελλάδα?
Έτσι,
Πώς
κοπανιστό.
το λένε αυτό? Σαν κοπανιστό είναι αυτό.
Ναι, φυροκαυτερή. Το λένε.
Hello.
I'll say hi. Hello.
This is my son, Nico.
Hey, Nico, how's it going?
Oh, Yosmo, Nico. And I know, I'm excited
Nico.
about this.
I'm going to get this recipe. I'm going to get my wife. We're going to make this dish.
Yes.
Okay. We've got, and we posted it on our Facebook page. We always post the ingredients and we give the chefs credit.
This is a great dish, Bob. What kind of peppers are those?
Now, these are jalapeno peppers. Now, what I try to do, right, they're jalapeno peppers and they're, I'm sorry, red chili peppers. These are red chili peppers.
Red chili pepper. Okay.
Right. And I'm doing this. I'm supposed to do it like this.
I don't know how you can.
See, you're supposed to do it like. There was a chef on the
Alexander,
show that was horrified with the way I was cutting.
Ναι, μόνο τη μία. Είναι πολύ νομίζω και οι δύο. Καλύτερα η μία.
Okay.
Yeah.
Chef Alexander says that probably you will go too far with two.
Yeah. I think so
That's
too.
really hot. Εδώ, chef, στην Αμερική, μες αρέσουν τα πράγματα πολύ ζεστά να είναι. We need really hot things here. This is California. Έχουμε τους Μεξικάνους εδώ και τρώμε τα φαγητά έτσι ζεστά εδώ είναι.
Έχω φέρει το τυρί, το feta. Feta is from Greece. It's from, oh shoot, I have it inside. It's okay. But
which one is it, Bob? Is it Dodonis feta or is it Bulgarian feta?
No, Greek feta. I always go.
There is no Bulgarian feta.
No, you know what? Thank you. You know what, George? Everybody, my mother-in-law is Bulgarian Armenian. And they keep telling me that Bulgarian feta is better. And I'm like, no, it's not. Greek feta is better. So bravo, Bob and Aurora. Bravo.
Yeah. We source everything. Hey, Nick, are you out there?
But Alexander may be a Bulgarian, think so.
Hey, Nikolaki, can you get? Hey, by the sink is the feta cover. Can you bring it so I can show everybody? So yeah, όλα ψάχνω να βρω από την Ελλάδα. Όλα τα πράγματα που είναι εδώ, τα πιο πολλά και το αλάτι. And the alati is I guess like
Galas.
It's
is the alati.
Galas.
And
Authentic. Authentic. No, I just can't read. Oh yeah, that might be easier.
There you go.
Yeah.
Bravo, Bob. 100% Greek. The way it should be.
Oh yeah, the peppers
Exactly.
are getting you.
I'm sorry, the peppers are getting to my nose now.
Yes.
All right. So έχουμε το τυρί από την Ελλάδα, έχουμε το λάδι από την Κρήτη, το λάδι είναι από την Κρήτη. And the cottage cheese is from California.
Καλό είναι.
The yogurt is Faye yogurt. Το γιαούρτι είναι το
Good
Faye.
stuff.
Almost, δεν ξέρω, I don't know if they source it in Greece or not. They may not. I know. I'm trying to get, what I want to do is start getting tours of the places in different places in Greece and that provide olive oils and feta and different things, and just kind of give them free advertising on the show because they may get picked up by a distributor here in the U.S.
We know, Bob, some of the best olive oil. I'm not saying it where my dad's from in Thessaloniki, Greece. Olives and olive oil. So, and some of the best stuff you'll ever get in your life. Southern Greece.
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely. I'll hook you up with those guys down in the park. The oil's amazing.
Anna says, I tried Bulgarian feta once and I gave it a big fat Greek thumbs down.
Bravo, Anna. I feel the same way.
All right. So I have the Cuisinart here. So τώρα τι θα κάνω. Προσπαθώ από εδώ.
Βάζουμε το τσίλι στο blender και το λάδι, το ξύδι, το πιπέρι.
Okay.
Τα χτυπάμε 1-2 λεπτά.
Okay. Και το λάδι, το ξύδι και το πιπέρι. So here I'm going to put the peppers in, the olive oil, and the vinegars from California. I wasn't able to get vinegar from Greece. But when Greece, I usually go to Greece about 3 times a year. So when I go, I try to kind of bring back stuff.
Nice.
Because I'll go for like 4 days. You know, I just love it there. So I'll just go for 4 days. I don't have to go for a long time. Then in the summer, I take the kids and we go. We were in Thessaloniki last year.
Unpopular opinion, but Thessaloniki sunsets way better than Santorini sunsets.
Oh,
I have to say.
I don't know. I have to go check it out.
Yeah,
But Aurora, have you ever heard the expression my mother used to say to us when we get mad in Greek? If you get mad, they go, pies xidi. They tell you to drink vinegar. So the Greeks, when you get mad, mithi monis pies xidi.
Oh, don't get mad. Drink
vinegar.
I don't know. If you said that to my other son, Yanni, he'd probably put some balsamic in it and dip some bread. I made bread this morning, so we're gonna. So let's bring the bread over. So έφτιαξα ψωμί το πρωί. So I made bread this morning.
Nice.
I got something. Yep. There you go. The ψωμί.
You guys are making me hungry now, Bob.
Normally, I would invite you over for the show.
I know. No, it's going to happen, just not now. Let things settle down here. Αυτό το COVID, θα χάσουμε βάρος από το COVID. Δεν μπορούμε να πάμε έξω να φάμε. So.
Do you know George Tsarouchas? He's the presenter for Cosmote, and he's on Alpha TV, and he was the host of The Bachelor Greece. He was on the show a few weeks ago, and before the lockdown, and he came over, and we did the show like here, and then we went over. I belong to the yacht club in Dana Point. Went over to the yacht club and had dinner.
Nice.
It was a nice day. So come over with your wife and your daughter, and
that'd be nice. We'll do it when things calm down.
Yeah. And vinegar as well. So come βάλει το λάδι και το vinegar. So τώρα θα το χτυπήσουμε έτσι, right? Okay, so now we.
Ναι, 1-2 λεπτά.
All right, so whoa, I'm going to mute, and so talk among yourselves for a moment.
All right. So you're making the blender now. Πόσο καιρό το κάνεις μέσα στο blender, Alex? Αυτό το ένα λεπτό, 30 λεπτό. Ένα λεπτό. So 1 minute, okay. Well, it's good, Bob.
Okay, I think we're good. All right. So I'm excited about this.
Like my mouth is already watering.
I know.
Excited.
Oh, look at that.
This is my favorite.
I may need some tsaroukas with this.
You always
Angela.
do.
I know. I always need tsaroukas with this stuff. So, Angelo, tell us, ouzo or tsarouk?
I think you with this one. I think ouzo goes better.
Ouzo, okay. We'll do some ouzo with this one then.
Not that I would know.
If tsiporo is good if you have a lot of meat, I think, right? A little tsiporo. But with something like this, it's more of a mezze, right? I think with a mezze, bless you, Bob. With mezze, I think ouzo is better.
Are attacking you right now. Oh my.
This is a compliment.
Yes. It's for the peppers.
Τώρα τι θα κάνουμε? Πώς θα προσπαθούμε τώρα?
Τώρα βάζουμε τα υπόλοιπα τυριά μέσα στο mixer, στο blender, συγγνώμη, και συνεχίζουμε για 2 λεπτάκια να τα χτυπάμε μέχρι να κάνουμε μια κρέμα.
Okay, so θα βάλουμε και το τυρί τώρα?
Everything.
Ναι.
Everything.
Oh, okay.
Φέτα λίγο με το χέρι.
Yeah, that's how they do this. Come here, look at this. Kafteri.
I know, look at this. Look at this. Oh my God.
Chili peppers chopped up.
Yeah. And so now we have our cottage cheese. Gonna give it some.
Αλέξανδρε, επειδή η μυζήθρα δεν ήταν εύκολο να βρεθεί εκεί, έβαλα να το αντικαταστήσει με cottage, που νομίζω ότι είναι κοντά. Σωστά.
Okay, let's see here. Now we got this. And yeah, so the recipe is on the Facebook page. So check it out if you want to follow along, watch the show at your leisure. Most of the people, you know, it's funny, we don't get, we'll get a few hundred people watching it live, Angelo, but then, you know, we get like 20, 30,000 people that watch it after about a week.
Watch it after. Yeah, that's the way it is. It's like video on demand now, Bob. Everything's like after.
Yeah, it's funny. It's because I figured we do it live, but then we did one show in Napoleon that was on premiere, and we had like 138 shares and 125,000 people, and just watch a show, and then you know we end up. Oh, thank you, Aurora read my mind. She's going, oh my God, it's going to get messy. So we get about 600,000 people who watch it every month, so it's doing pretty good.
It's good numbers.
We can do some good. Hopefully, we can do some good for people in Greece with it and keep the kids here engaged.
Very nice.
All right, we're going to go back to mute mode. Talk amongst yourselves.
Κάνουν το blender. Πρέπει να τα αφήσουμε να τα ακούσουμε και αυτά. Ο καιρός πώς είναι στη Θεσσαλονίκη, παιδιά? Πώς είναι ο καιρός?
Βρέχει. Τώρα βρέχει.
Βρέχει,
Βροχερό.
Ναι, εδώ εντάξει είμαστε σήμερα. Τουλάχιστον το καλό πράγμα που έχουμε εδώ είναι ο καιρός. Από τα άλλα χάλια είμαστε. Αλλά δεν πειράζει.
Όχι χάλια. Όχι χάλια. Όχι χάλια, μην παραπονιέσαι.
Τι, είναι χάλια, τι να σου πω. Δεν έχουμε δουλέψει 10 μήνες. Δεν μπορείς να πας πουθενά εδώ. Κλεισμένα τα εστιατόρια, κλεισμένα όλα. Το καλό πράγμα είμαστε, θα φτιάξουμε φαγητό σήμερα. Αυτό είναι το καλύτερο πράγμα.
Okay, that's why we're here.
That's why we're here, exactly. But what are you going to do? Όλος ο κόσμος έτσι είναι τώρα. Το καινούριο τώρα είναι να κάνουμε τώρα Zoom shows. Αυτό είναι. Προπαντός για μένα πιο πολύ είναι που κάνουμε live shows, είναι καλύτερα. Αλλά αυτό είναι ευχάριστο τώρα που βλέπουμε. Looks good. It looks really good.
Αλέξανδρε, θες να προτείνεις με τι φαγητό μπορούν να το συνοδεύσουν, με τι...
Ναι,
ταιριάζει?
μπορείς να το φας, ας πούμε, με ψητό κρέας, είναι πολύ ωραίο. Και σαν ορεκτικό με μια φέτα ψωμί και λίγο ντομάτα ίσως, είναι πολύ ωραίο.
Ωραίο.
So it's a great appetizer.
Right? No, I understood everything you said.
But yeah,
I understood everything you said.
It's also
Ωραίο,
for the
πάει
audience.
με ντομάτα, πάει με το άλλο. Εντάξει, ωραίο είναι αυτό.
Mm-hmm. But it's also, we have some audience that they do not speak Greek at all.
Well,
It's
that's
all
true,
Greek for
too.
them.
Yeah,
it's
well,
good
you
for
know
them.
what, George? That's their fault. They didn't go to Greek school. They should have learned. Sometimes we'll do the shows. You know, I'll do jokes in Greek and English, and some people will come up to me and say, "I didn't understand that." I go, "That's your problem." Έπρεπε να μάθεις τα ελληνικά στο σχολείο όταν μεγαλόμαστε. Τώρα, it doesn't matter. But you're right, though. A lot of people aren't, understanding it. So, but he's right, though. Sometimes I'll eat it with toast. You'll make toast with that dish, with tomates and with olives and stuff. It's really
Exactly.
good.
Exactly.
So
This is
good.
what Alexander said. That it's a great appetizer with toasted bread and tomato, and it's also good as a side dish with barbecue meat.
Yes. Really good, actually. Steak, sausages, arani, if you like it, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I think we're ready.
Those peppers got in my nose, and oh my God, I couldn't stop coughing. So this is the dip.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna try some bread. I want the baguettes. I made baguettes as well as like traditional Greek bread, but all right. We going in?
Oh, let me get like a. I want one.
Get the baguette.
There we go. Okay.
All right, guys, here we go. We should do. Okay. This is part of our clickbait here. We're gonna do the dip. Show the audience. There you go.
How is it?
Oh, Delia.
If you don't mind, I'm just gonna.
No. Oh my
So good.
God.
Πολύ ωραία.
Now, you see what you guys did, Bob? You dipped it. In North America, they take a spoon and put it on. The real Greek way is dip it with your bread. Bravo.
A spoon? That's just crazy talk, Angelo.
Yeah, but there you go.
We would never do that.
Not in this household.
Not in this household.
100% agreed. 100% agreed. I think it's great.
Oh, that was good.
How is it, Aurora?
So good.
You said it in Greek. Say it in Greek.
Πολύ ωραία.
Πολύ ωραία. Nice.
Bravo, Alexander. Bravo.
Ευχαριστώ, να είστε καλά, να είστε καλά.
Okay, Alexander, are you working? Δουλεύεις πουθενά τώρα? Είναι ανοιχτό το μαγαζί? Τίποτα?
Όχι, δεν δουλεύω, ξεκουράζομαι.
Okay. All right. Well, Alexander, ευχαριστούμε πάρα πολύ και να μου στείλεις links with whatever you have, okay? And we'll post it on the Facebook page for your restaurant.
Θέλω να σας ευχαριστήσω πάρα πολύ όλους. Μπορεί να μην καταλαβαίνω τη γλώσσα, αλλά νιώθω τη θετική ενέργεια και εύχομαι καλή συνέχεια.
Να είσαι καλά, Alex.
Να είσαι καλά, Alex.
Να είσαι καλά, σε ευχαριστούμε πάρα πολύ.
Ναι.
Ευχαριστώ πολύ.
Alex. And Angela, hang on. We'll go back to you for a little bit, and
Sure.
we'll get rid of this. And because
we know that Bob's got some pepper allergies happening.
Every time.
It gets in your nose a little bit, and if you get it in your nose a little bit, it goes in the, and it's hard to get it out. You got to sneeze it out a few times.
You know, I felt like I was on the hot ones. You know.
You know what's nice about that recipe, guys? What's nice about that recipe? It looks pretty simple to make, and the results are really good.
Yeah,
they are.
Such a great. I mean, you know, people watching this can make it. We're going to make it, like maybe tonight or tomorrow.
Yeah.
I always thought it was harder to make, but you know, I mean, you go to different places. I can't remember. Is in Chicago? They call it fire feta.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Fire feta, and they put the peppers and everything. But it's so good. Like you dip, you won't stop dipping it.
Well, that's why I wanted to make fresh bread this morning because I was going to make some pita, but I thought the you know, whenever you add yeast and you let bread rise and all of that, always, I don't know, tastes better for this. But you know, we've learned some interesting recipes, and I know your family, you came out of the food
catering, food business, right?
Yeah. But I never grew up. I didn't grow up with mustard as something that's added to Greek food.
It's so good.
It's great. Yeah.
The recipes for the chicken souvlaki, pork souvlaki, you add a little mustard to them.
Yeah.
It was life-changing.
It was amazing. It was just fantastic. So
they like that. You know, one of my favorite dishes my mom makes is uvarelakia soup, and my wife makes it, and it's just, you know, egg lemon meatball soup. I mean, how do you go wrong with that? And my friends come over and they go, "Here, sit down and eat this. Tell me if you like it." And they go nuts. We wipe out the whole pot.
Yeah. No, it's delicious.
Because it's hard. You know what it is too? It's hard because a lot of these recipes are labor intensive. So people don't want to do them. And that's why when you show people how to make this and they make it at home, it's like, oh, wow, this is great, you know? And it's like, and who doesn't like feta cheese? Everybody likes feta cheese.
Well, you know, whenever we do, 9 times out of 10, George is the one who finds the restaurants for us and the chefs. Nice. And so I said, hey, let's not do anything where, because I want to talk to Angelo a lot during this process. You know, let's not do anything where, because some of the recipes are so complicated that I've got things boiling, I've got things frying, I've got things on the barbecue, can we keep it? So I'm at
right. This was great today.
Yeah.
I'm actually this is something I love to eat. So it's kind of works hand in hand.
Yeah.
Well, here, let's talk. Yeah, no, I'm glad we found something that you like as well. So let's play a little game here.
Okay.
Okay, Angelo, what do you think? Moussaka or pasticcio?
Moussaka, hands down.
I'm sorry, you're wrong.
Yeah,
he's wrong.
I like pasticcio too, but I love moussaka. Good moussaka, you can't go wrong. I love both. But moussaka wins.
No, I do too. You know, we've made pasticcio. We haven't made moussaka yet. George, get on that.
Is it too hard though? It's too hard.
Well, you know, when in the summertime, the show is really at this big. I have an outdoor kitchen barbecue area, and we move over there, and it's a lot easier to do stuff there. But let's see here.
A little too cold right now.
I know it is. How about Greek coffee or frappe?
Oh, geez, both.
Chino.
Well, look, Greek coffee in the morning, frappe in the afternoon.
There's the right answer.
Greek coffee in the morning, frappe in the afternoon. Finished.
There you go. You know, it's like you can't compete with the guy who lives thinking on his feet, man. You know, I mean,
it's a no-brainer.
Okay, last one.
Okay, this is traditional Greek caffeine or a modern Greek cafe in Greece. This is in
traditional, 100% traditional. The modern cafe, everybody's trying to be cool, and a traditional cafe, nobody cares. You're going to hear the best comedy for me is going to come out of a traditional cafeño. You're going to see a bunch of guys sitting around like titelis, titelis. I love that. I like the attitude. I don't want that cigara looking cool. I want the guys looking at me going, tikitas. I want those guys. I don't know, modern Greek cafes. They're nice too. If you're on a date, modern Greek cafe. If you're just hanging out, you gotta go to a traditional cafeteria.
I sent my son, the son you met, Nico. I sent him when he graduated high school. This is going back a few years, but when he graduated high school, I sent him to Greece to live on my uncle's farm in the village for a month. And I said, look, all I want you to do is go over there and just kind of experience life in the village, you know. And he went over there, and what he came back with was ability to really connect with old men at these old traditional cafeterias, and he learned how to play tavli. So he came back as an expert in tavli, and because it's a seaside, it's on the sea, so you know it's like a 5-minute walk from the house to the sea, and he's sitting there, and he learned how to work the kobaloi and play tavli. I go, okay, maybe that's not the lesson I wanted you to learn, but okay. So anyways, it was, I just thought it was kind of interesting to see. But hey, Angela, why don't you tell us about what you're looking forward to in the year? Because I know I can't, you know, we posted funnygreek.com on our pages, all that, so people can find you and all that. And I guess there's no place to perform right now, but when things open up in a few months, what are you looking forward to?
Employment. Employment. You know what? I just want to go back to work. It doesn't matter. There's talk of a TV show, talk of a movie, talk of some. I just want to go back to work. Like everybody, we want to go back to work, at least what's considered normal. I've been home for 10 months. So all of us, doesn't matter what you do, entertainment, except for high tech or Amazon, they're the guys making money. But other than that, the rest of us, we just want to go back to work.
And look, even for those of us where you know, I'm fortunate enough to be able to work out of my house at least 10 months, but that's not the right way to work either. You know, when you're, you need to be in the office. You got to be around other people. This can't go on forever.
Well, you know, Bob, in June, I was supposed to film a show with Pavlo. And actually, Chef Pavlo as a guest. He likes to cook food, too. If you look him up, pavlo.net. He's one of the best guitarists in the world. He's from Canada, but his background's from Castoria. He had the PBS special live from Castoria, Pavlo. So we were filming something in Santorini. And I was going to open the show for him. I was doing a show in Santorini. And then Pavlo. And we were supposed to go in June. And it got pushed to August, and it just got pushed off the cliff. So we're hoping to go back next year. So I want to go to Greece.
Well, you know, you keep us informed on when you're, you know, before you do a show like that, let us know, because we'll buy tickets and we'll meet you there. We want to watch you. We want to watch you perform there.
No, and I was supposed to be in Thessaloniki in October. We were going to do Thessaloniki, Heraklion, Patra, and Athens, and then I was going to Cyprus and whatever. But you know, unfortunately, like everything this year, nothing's happening. So I can go see George, and we can go to Mugaza in Thessaloniki.
And then we go to Tsaroukas, and we will get Zigeros Armas.
Bravo, George. That's great. So when we go now, Bob, you made the hookup with George. So we go to Thessaloniki, we're going to go to Tsaroukas restaurant, and then all the other things. It'll be fun, actually.
It will.
For me, it'd be great because, you know, it's great that, and I've heard about this place, and I want to go there. And because there's a famous director or actor from Thessaloniki, Kostas Tsarouchas.
Yes.
When he's as an actor, director. And he sent me a message. He goes, I want to meet you. I want to meet you too. So I'm just going squirrely. And my wife and daughter, because we went to Rhodos, and we went to Monavasia, and then we went to Mavrovuni, and then we were in Athens. So, you know, and then my daughter and wife were like, are we going to Greece next year? I go, well, I hope so. So when my kid finishes school, Bob, as soon as she finishes school, I want to get on a plane, go to Greece. And the day before her school begins in California, I leave Greece. I could care less anymore I just want to go to Greece for the summer. Like, that's it. I don't want to go anywhere else now.
Don't we all, man? Yeah, we all
So
do.
Aurora, it's so nice, right? We go to Greece. It's like my daughter's 8, and she's like, "Daddy, I loved it there." I go, "What's there not to love? The food, the people, everything. You got to go to Greece."
Yeah.
And that's why I think people outside of Greece love Greece more than the people living there. Because when I talk to my cousins, they're like, "Oh no, we want to go to Montreal. We go to San Francisco." I go, "No, you don't. You want to, but that's normal." I think when you live somewhere, you don't care about it as much. You got to miss it and then go back to it.
Sure.
You got to miss it and go back to it.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, that's why. So
where do you play? Like if this was the traditional, I mean, if everything was open right now, where would you be playing? What clubs do you play at?
Okay, and I can't remember the theater, George. It was the theater in Thessaloniki. Let me see if I can see if I Google it quickly. I can tell you guys the name of the theater. It held about 800 or 900 people in Thessaloniki. It was in Thessaloniki. Let's see here. What was it called? It was. Let's see. I suppose. Let me tell you now. And it doesn't. No, it doesn't say. Can't remember the name. It was a famous theater there.
A lot of trouble theater, George.
Yeah, it could be Radio City, or could be the old Royal. It was
Maybe
called the Royal.
Maybe the Old Royal. I think that's where it was, George.
Royal Theater.
That's where we were.
That's
Yeah.
about the capacity that you said, about 800 to 900 people.
800 people. Yeah, I think that's the place we were at.
Mhm.
And what a great. That's why I said I want to. If I go back again, George, I want to go a few days early to check more things out. So I didn't have that much time.
Yes, that's the thing that you should. I will be here. Okay.
Good.
Now we're connected.
And Bob and Aurora are going to come too, so we'll have a little camp.
Yeah.
And we will exercise what philoxenia is, because this is the topic that we started, and philoxenia is exactly what Angelo said. That philoxenia is that we are friends to strangers.
Strangers. Only Greeks have it, right, George? We're the only ones who have that philoxenia. And it's it's like it's fun. It's funny because there's so many things you try to explain to people and why. That's why I was saying when I travel anywhere and they still know you're Greek, it's got that cachet to it where they're like, it still exists, the philoxenia. Where it's like, but it's like, and that's what I miss the adventures. We like to travel too. Because Bob, your family's from the Thessaloniki area, right? Is that where your family's from?
My family's from Crete and from Patra.
So you're more, yeah.
And I was born in Athens, though.
Okay.
Yeah, but I immigrated here in '63, so I was just a little kid when we came here.
You're just a baby. You don't look that old, Bob. You look young, actually. You look really young.
Kind of you. That's very kind of you. I'll tell my
good.
kids.
And it's like, and you don't realize, when I was a travel agent, Bob, before I did this secure business of entertainment, and
travel agents.
Yeah, you know what my pitch was for Greece, and it worked every time. I go, do you want to book a vacation or do you want to book a memory?
That's
and
true.
it got them every time. And I used to say to them, everybody in the world should go to Greece once. Everybody. And they go, oh, you're saying it because you're Greek. I go, okay, go to Aruba, go to Mexico, go anywhere else, and then go to Greece. And then come back and tell me what experience was better. 99.9% of the time, they came back to me. They were like, oh, we're going back to Greece. Of course you are.
Yeah.
Because the Greeks are civilized. Where are you going to go? So, I think they didn't like my arrogance. They were like, well, and I'm not saying there's not other nice places in the world. There is. But you go to Spain, you go to France, you go to Italy. I live in England. There's a lot of nice places on the earth, but there's nothing like Greece. There's nothing like it. You can't, because the guy goes to me, well, what makes Greece so great? I go, you can't compare it to nothing. You got to go see it for yourself. And then you make the comparisons, I said, between the weather, between the people, between the food, between the way you feel. And that's why these things make you feel so good, is when you eat Greek food, or I got a friend of mine who's Syrian. And he goes to me, what's so great about the Greeks and this and that? I'm like, hey, dude, I said, I never see a restaurant called the Happy Syrian. No, I'm not crapping on Syrian people, but I do hear the Happy Greek, the Great Greek, the Greek gods, So in my act, when I do comedy, I'm a reminder. And sometimes people are like, well, you're kind of a cheerleader for Greece. Yeah, because I love it. So, I mean, why wouldn't you be? But I do it in a way sometimes it comes across condescending. So they're all, and that's why I make fun of how Greeks are. I'll make fun of how people look at us. But the one thing, have you ever heard this from anybody, especially the Xeni? I hate Greek food. I never heard that in my life.
Never.
You take Xeni to a restaurant, you know what they tell you? Oh, we love Greek food. But the one thing I find funny, George, and I make fun of this in my show when I did that, the guy goes, oh, you're Greek, huh? We love feta cheese. Like, I don't know what that means. What do you mean I'm Greek? I wouldn't go to a Chinese person going, oh, you're Chinese. We love orange chicken. It's so stupid. So that's why that's where I find the humor in it. So everything, humor, and Aristophanes said this, comedy is tragedy plus time. So comedy is tragedy plus time. The Greeks coined it. So if something tragic happens, then later on you think, yeah, that was kind of crappy what happened, but hey, it's kind of funny now, isn't it? Let's talk about it. So you kind of, like, what you ever see it happens with Greeks, you'll fall down, and they look at you first, you bang your face, and then if you said Naxi, yeah, then they start laughing. They think it's hilarious. If you bang your face on the ground, are you okay? Yeah, then they laugh.
I've been watching a lot of Greek TV lately, so I subscribe to. So I get everything by Antenna and Alpha TV and all that. And I love the older shows where that's that kind of slapstick comedy.
The slapstick, yeah.
Yeah. I love that. But you're you tell me when you have to get off, because man, I could keep you on here for a lot longer. But I want to ask you one more thing. It's there's what I love about you is so unapologetic about everything. Whether it's okay, you're a big guy. You come in headlong on that. You come in, in your comedy, Greek, bam. It's like it's when I see you work that audience, because I've been watching. I've watched your shows whenever they kind of pop up on my feed and all that for years. But before, two things. One is nobody believed you were going to come on the show. I
get that. Funny, Bob, because people say to me, because I was talking to Costantino, and he goes, "Oh, you're going. That's great. You're going on a show." And people will call me, and I go, "You know what? Just call me now. I'm not doing nothing." And people go, "Oh, is this really you answering?" Yeah. And my wife Alina facilitates it through my website through funnygreek. Right. My website's tsaroukas.com and funnygreek.com. For the people who can't spell tsaroukas, I go to funnygreek.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because it's like I'm happy that I came on your show. I actually learned something today. And I got to meet George and Chef Alex and Santa Barbara, Christina Apostolopoulos. And my dad is good friends with Reno Romano. Yeah, Christina, I know your dad. Because that makes you half Canadian. Your dad's Alex is your dad, And that's right. When we did the show for LOL in Santa Barbara with Ruben Paul. That's right.
Christina's been on the show many times. She's our favorite musician. She's been on probably 5 or 6 times on the show, playing guitar and singing, and she is just the most talented. Oh my God.
I've seen Christina online. And you know what's funny? Reno Romano is one of the best voice actors in Hollywood. He's an Italian guy, and Alex is your dad. I know your dad, but her dad's a famous actor, and who's Greek, of course, Apostolopoulos, but he goes by Alex Carter. See, your dad was smart. I kept mine tsaroukas. Nobody can pronounce it. But as a comedian, I kept it. And Reno was the voice of Batman, Curious George. He was the voice of NBC. Huge voiceover actor, and he's good friends with Alex. And it's funny. See they're cooking with Greeks, and we're in LA, Santa Barbara, Thessaloniki. Thank you, internet.
Yeah, I know it's amazing.
So good, you know. We should do dating with Greeks. Great with these Greek people.
Cassie.
Yes.
Great. And you're perfect, all right? You're young, pretty girl. You come up and say, we're going to talk to guys.
Aurora is my younger son's girlfriend, and my daughter-in-law.
Yes.
And
congratulations.
But
are you Greek? Are you Greek?
Now I am.
Yeah.
There you are. You know why? Because you're marrying a Greek.
Yeah.
That's it. And my wife's Armenian, and she comes from a strong culture. Mm-hmm. And it's a very great culture, the Armenians, but I think she tends to, the Greek side always dominates, male or female. It just does. It's just, I shouldn't say dominates. I think people just
they gravitate to it.
They gravitate to it. You know, it's not, I shouldn't say dominates, it's kind of, but we're always kind of Greekifying things anyway. You know?
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. But we've had Christina on the show many times. She's played guitar and sang for us, just because that's one of the things we do. We try to add music and food, now comedy and food, and just and like I said, just give people in Greece some hope that hey, when things turn around, we're going to be there for you,
and give everybody like a little piece of Greece because I know I'm missing it. So this is like a little
nice.
No.
Yeah.
My wife loves it. If you ask my wife now, she's been all over the world with me, India, Ireland, Hawaii. If you ask her where you want to go, Greece.
Yep.
She doesn't want to go anywhere else. And I mean, my daughter's the same way. And it's like, yeah, I'm kind of, and you know what? There's so many great places to see. But for me, honestly, going to Greece, and I love the attitude there too. I just want to go there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just kind of going to go. I think we're going to end up going again next time. If they open it up again, and look, Canada's great. I love my country, Canada. Go to Canada between May and October. May to October. Don't go November to April. You won't feel your fingers or toes. It's freezing. Yeah. It's freezing.
I'll tell you, now with these peppers, I touch my nose and I can't feel my nose.
Oh, no.
I think George, I guess we got to go now. It's
but there is a plate of garido macaronada here waiting for me.
Oiki! Look, I hate you now, George.
I know.
Oh my gosh.
Well, as they say, Kaliorixi, George. Kaliorixi.
But next time you need to come here to update your jokes about taxes. Okay, we have a brand new series of taxes.
That happened to me. That actually happened.
Exactly how I see that joke. Now, when you wanna learn the news and to be educated, you just grab a taxi. Okay.
Exactly.
If there's a guy goes to the parking lot where are 2 or 3 taxis, and he knocks on the door, window down, said, "What do you want?" Says the taxi driver. Said, "Are you the one for the COVID vaccine?" "No, the other guy. I'm here for politics."
I love that.
So it depends on the topic.
Back there.
What taxi you will get? Okay.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
So
That's hilarious, George. Well,
they're-
nice
they're
talking to
waiting
you
for me.
guys.
and probably they're gonna eat my streams. So I need to.
Yeah, you need to.
Say
Yeah.
All
goodbye.
right, George. Hey, George,
Thank
thank
you.
you for joining us. Really appreciate it. And for the
Thank you.
Okay.
Nice to meet you, Angelo.
Bye, George. Nice to meet you too.
I'll call you.
All right.
Yeah.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Arigapoli. That's nice.
No, George is my cousin, and he lives
Nice.
in Saloniki, and but
Rosa's
oh,
saying
okay.
goodbye.
Rosa
Quick
Rosa
hello,
just
quick
arrived
goodbye.
in time. So I have two co-hosts. I have Rosa.
Hi, Rosa.
And Aurora,
Hi, Rora.
and
Rosa.
Rosa just arrived. But hey, let me ask since about when you've traveled all over the world. I know you've traveled with Russell Peters as well.
Right.
It seems like you guys are best friends or something. So
He was my best man at my wedding.
oh wow.
So, when we
Okay.
got married at St. Sophia. I've known Russell 28 years.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Russell knows a lot of Greek, but not necessarily all the good words. So when people run into him, they go, "Oh, I wonder who he learned that from."
Yeah.
Yeah, but with Russell, I got the tour, South Africa and all these, New Zealand, Australia, all these, and now there's a huge. Somebody said, "Yeah, we call taxis open universities for free education." Right? That's great. It's so true. And Bob, it's funny because now I get, the largest Greek population out of Greece is, and a city is in Melbourne, Australia, which have a huge following. There's 700,000 Greeks in Melbourne.
Yeah.
So there's a place. So imagine like Pasadena, but all Greek. That's Oakley, which is kind of a suburb of Melbourne, and so we got a huge following all over there too. And I get to travel. That's just from comedy. So I mean, comedy took me to places I would have never gone in my life ever to do comedy.
That's amazing. That's wonderful. I mean, that's really wonderful. There's when I saw you guys, when I saw you and Russell Peter kind of interact once, it was introduced to your show, and you've probably gotten to know his family. Is there
Of course.
like a big difference from kind of growing up Greek in Canada, growing up Indian in Canada? I mean, is there
Not really.
a lot of commonality in between you guys?
I'll give you the best example. Russell's dad is from Mumbai, Bombay, and his mom's from Calcutta. She's from Calcutta. So we went with Russell. We're on tour. So we did Bangalore, Mumbai, New Delhi, and Calcutta when we toured in India. And we went to visit his family, which is just outside of Calcutta. And it's like a Choreo, like a village. And when we went there, and I said to Russell, this is just like visiting my family in Greece. Out in the village, they bring you the drinks, everybody's sitting around. And I thought, aside from the fact that they're Indian and we're Greek, I didn't see, because he thought I'd be weirded out by it. I go, no, this reminds me. So as much as the world is different, it's very much the same.
Mm-hmm.
And people, the best education you can give anybody is to go travel and explore, not just places, but meet the people. So if you go to, and I thought, because they thought, oh, you're in India, it's going to be, India has 1.2 billion people. I mean, the humanity of travel and stuff, it's crazy. Like, you've never seen that many people on the street ever in your life, ever. It's 4 times the population of America, imagine.
Right.
We're crowded.
Right.
So, but go to the village there. When we went to the village, I found it interesting how it wasn't like, you saw Yaya, you saw Papu, you saw the aunts and the uncles, and you're sitting around, and I'm like, Russell goes, are you freaked out? I go, no. He goes, why? It's same as going to the village in Greece. Same thing. That's
very cool. That's very cool. I could see that because when when I kind of saw I saw, wow, Greek guy and Indian guy friends, and they seem pretty close. And I didn't know that he was the best man at your wedding, but I thought, you know what? There's probably a lot to growing up Indian in Canada and growing up Greek in Canada. There's still that kind of outsider kind of, like you said, tragedy to comedy, right? Given time,
right?
There's a lot of that was probably pretty painful growing up. Experience that were kind of painful growing up, but given time,
it's
probably pretty funny. Yeah, they're hilarious now.
Well, it's funny now, but see, it's funny because, and not making it political, but our forefathers, my dad left Greece 15 years old in 1949. So in Canada, they'd be calling them DPs, displaced people.
Yeah.
And in 1922, in Atlanta, Georgia, there were signs in restaurants that said, no blacks, no Jews, no Greeks. And that's why a HEPA was formed. So when you talk about systematic racism and stuff, I'm not making the comparison to black African Americans, but Greeks in the history of time, Indians, we understand the strife of pain because our people were under the Ottoman Empire, were enslaved and slaughtered. So I think everything has a different relation. I don't want to make it sound like a comparison.
Right.
It's not like a competition, but I think that's why we're more sympathetic to what's going on in America today. And the reason I say that, even when Dr. Luther King walked over Selma Bridge in 1964, the Metropolitan Archbishop Iakovos was with him. He was on the front page of Life magazine.
Right.
Remember that?
Yeah.
So I go, because I think that's like I'm saying, and maybe I'm tooting the horn for Greeks, but we have the philotimo and the philoxenia, the philotimo, love of honor, and we understand human rights because we're always fighting for it. So even because somebody said to me, if you're Greek Orthodox, everything's intertwined. So when you say you're Greek, you're Greek. Even if Greeks tell me they're atheist, whatever, I don't believe them. I'm like, dude, it's part of your culture. It's just like Jews. Jewish people, Greek people, it's all intertwined in our culture. The food, the customs. Even when my cousins tell me, I don't, whatever. You can't change who you are, and you shouldn't. But if anything, open it up, make it inviting, right? And for me, it's easier to do it with comedy. So even if I do jokes, guys, there's a lot of, like you said, there's a lot of truth. Why are fat people fat? They eat.
Yeah.
There's no thyroid. There's no water. I mean, stop eating. If you want to be thin, don't eat. And I get people coming up to me going, well, your jokes are kind of white. What did I say was wrong about fat people? I'm fat. I admit it. Just own it. Don't. And that's the way we were raised. And I think that's where it comes in, where you got to be, if you're honest about things, people will then connect to it.
Yeah.
Even if they don't, they go, oh, why is it like that? Well, because we like to eat. That's not a fallacy.
Yeah.
And clearly, we like to eat here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so hungry now. I'm looking at you and Aurora eating that delicious fire feta.
I will make it. When you come over, I'm going to make you some bread. Make some of that fire feta.
You're damn right you're going to do that, Bob.
We're going to do the pork souvlaki with honey mustard.
Nice.
With some honey and some mustard.
The mustard, I'm a big fan of mustard. Big fan.
And the honey will only be from Greece. So we'll
100%.
Do you right?
100%.
Well, look, I can't. I don't want to keep you much longer. It's lunchtime too. So let's. But it's already. I didn't realize. But thank you so much for taking the time.
Yeah, we had so much fun today, Bob.
And we appreciate it so much, and I know the people in Greece appreciate it, and Angelo, we'd love to have you back whenever you'd like to come back.
I'd love to. And if you want to see I got new videos put up on my YouTube channel under Angelo Tsarouchas. So go to YouTube. All of my new videos are up there. Instagram, Facebook, Angelo Tsarouchas, or funnygreek.com. Or,
I'll make sure, I'm going to find those YouTube videos under Angelo Tsarouchas, and I'll, when this is over, I'll get a chance to add links to it, and I'll add the links to it, and so people can find those videos as well. But for Angelo
Wait,
Tsarouchas,
can you put my mom on?
Oh.
She's actually a fan. My mom's a fan.
Can we put one of your fans on? Because
Sure, put her on. I want to say hi to her.
There you go.
Hey, thank you so much, Tony Marie. That's a great name, Tony Marie Nelson Withy. I like that name. That's great. Glad you like
Yeah.
Thank you,
Tony Marie, right? Tony Marie.
Yep, Tony Marie.
With an I. Tony with an I. That's awesome.
And we have Regina Greco Chavez just said thanks for another great show.
Hi, Regina. It's you know, in Canada we have a city named Regina. Regina. And it's Regina. Remember Regina? She was in Mean Girls.
Yes.
Not that way. Regina, but look at that name, Regina Greco Chavez. It's Canada, Greece, and Latin America all in one name. I love that.
One place. Regina, we can't thank you enough for joining us, Regina. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Regina.
And Angela, we can't thank you enough for joining us. And,
my pleasure, Bob and Aurora. Thanks for having me on your show today. I had so much fun.
We did too.
Yes, we had a blast. Round of applause for Angelo. Can't wait to see you, Angelo, and thank you. And thank you for everybody that joined us. And we're going to sign off with Losas Vrikame. Bye, Angelo. Yes.
Bye, guys. Take care.
Bye.